Howdy, everybody. How was your weekend? This is for Shasta College Humanities for Film Studies. Yes, we're studying film, movies. They used to call them the pictures in the old days. Now, what do you call them? What do you call them? I still call them film, which is kind of an old term because we don't use film anymore. They're all on digital hard drives. So that's not that romantic, though, right? This is my new digital hard drive feature. You want to look at that? Or do you want to look at my film? There's no romance in digital hard drives. Anyway, when I was a kid, we called them movies. Then it got more sophisticated and people started calling it cinema and films because that comes from the fancy French New Wave, Italian neorealism, where it elevated the art form from mere entertainment, mere time killers, to something more meaningful and deep about our human condition. So tonight, I'm briefly going to talk about the Academy Awards. Who saw it last night? Who saw any of it? Started a discussion. Who saw it? Why not? I'll post it in discussions after I'm done with this. I'm just curious because all my life it's been a big deal. Last couple of years, not such a big deal. I used to look forward to the show every night, year, because we all wanted to see who's going to win, see our favorite films. That's kind of faded as I've gotten older because I'm getting to the point where I don't like celebrities. I don't need to see Brad Pitt walking around or Angelina Jolie. In fact, they make me angry. I do like seeing new filmmakers emerge, and we had some new ones this year. We had some new ones last year. Things are changing in the Oscars. Maybe you saw it last night. Maybe you read about it. Maybe you don't know anything about it, nor care, nor it doesn't affect your life at all. Do they have the same? Does film even have the same cultural resonance that it's had over the years? I mean, the pandemic has really shut it down a lot. We used to go to the movie theater. We used to share in the collective form of watching cinema on the big screen. Now we're mostly staying at home and watching them on our small screens. Yes, we have big screen TVs, but they're nothing like a movie theater. You could stop a movie, you could go, you could leave, you could take a nap, you could come back to it. When's the last time you sat through a whole 2-hour movie all in one setting? Think about it. This year's Academy Awards were not the most glamorous. Do we need glam? Do we need glamorous things? I mean, personally, I don't feel we do. I'm anti-glam. I don't care what people are wearing. I care about the content of their films. I saw quite a few of them this year. There's some I haven't seen because they haven't come down to my streaming level. The movie that won the Academy Award for Best Movie, Best Director, and Best Actress, Frances McDermott, who I think is brilliant, and anything she does, it's her second Oscar. She's won before, and she's my age, so I'm glad to see somebody in there still rocking. No Man Land. It's about the woman who loses everything, her husband, her job, her house, and has to live in a van and make her living off temporary employment. She works for Amazon when she can. She works for whomever she can, when she can, and lives in a van. And there is a whole population, there's a whole community. If anybody's been out to the desert in Joshua Tree or the Mojave Desert or any in the Nevada desert communities, these communities of van dwellers are popping up everywhere. Moab Desert, You could park on BML land, supposedly for no charge. And so you'll see people park there for weeks at a time. Now, are they mentally healthy? Are they happy? Are they thriving? Yes, a lot of them are. I watch a lot of this stuff on YouTube. That's where the inspiration, I think, came from. There's a lot of people who are posting YouTube videos on how they get by living with less. Do we really need all the big houses with all the stuff that we collect, all the crap we connect? Or can we live more of a nomadic life and experience different parts of the world, not just one place that we live in because we're in a house that ties us down there? I'm attracted to that because I am. I actually hope one day in the back of my head I'm going to get a van. As long as I can keep teaching, I can make a living online like we're doing now. And I could make my films and write my novels and play my guitar and travel around the country uh, with some kind of mixed dog that nobody could define what kind of it is. That's the kind I like. The kind where people go, "What kind of dog that is?" I go, "What does it matter? He's a dog. Doesn't matter what kind he is. Do we have to categorize everything?" Anyway, I'll save some poor dog that's one day from being gassed because he's too ugly for anybody else to want, but it'll be perfect for me. Anyway, I hope this is my dream, my fantasy, or whatever. I better do it quick before something happens to me. Anyway, so that won all the awards. The woman who directed it is Korean. That's a first. It's only the second time in history Academy Awards a woman has won the Academy Award for a Best Director. The other one, there's a piece of trivia for you. You should know it because I talked about her. For The Hurt Locker, Kathleen Bigelow. She won. That was about 10 years ago or so. She's the first woman to ever win an Academy Award because women essentially don't direct movies, but now they do. And that's what the digital world, the small budgeted films like No Man Land, they didn't cost very much to make it. I'm sure Frances got a nice little paycheck for acting, but she probably even took a discount from what she normally charges in big budgeted movies that she's worked on, although she doesn't work on too many of those. Her husband is one of the Coen brothers, and so she's worked on their films, of course, and she's had a very interesting, smart, creative career. She's not about glam either, let me tell you. She seems real to me. Hopefully she is. Anyway, they couldn't get these films made years ago because they wouldn't have enough money to come up with the budget for them. But now that we're all in the digital world, things have changed. And you can convince people, if you have a good story to tell, you can convince Hollywood major actors who've won Academy Awards who want to still do good work, you can convince them to be in your film, perhaps. Or perhaps not. This is only her, the woman who directed it, it's only her third film. I don't know if you saw her last night, very modest woman. Was not glam, folks. So things are changing. The look of the awards are changing. Now we have Asian directors and black directors and black actors and white actors, and it's more of a mix. 10 years ago was white, 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 white. Now, in the Me Too movement, the women are finally getting their chance to come up and be leaders. And in the Black Lives Matter movement, African American actors are rising up, and now they're getting seen. They're not just playing the comedy part or the sidekick to the white leading man. They are the leading man. Look at Black Panther, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, Denzel Washington, one of the great current although he's my age, so he's not as current as he used to be. Sidney Poitier, they were leading men, and white audiences liked them equally. Um, the guy who won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actor was played in the movie. I haven't seen it because it hasn't kind of come around. Yeah, you can pay $20 to see it online, but I'm not in the mood for that. And he played. He was an informer based on a true story of the Black Panther Party in the '60s. So things are changing. Now, the controversy this year is Anthony Hopkins, 83-year-old white British actor, won his second, perhaps his third Academy Award. I think it's his second one for The Father, and very much deserved. He's a master of cinema acting and stage work also, which is a different form of acting. It really is. When you're acting through the camera, it's different than the stage. For the camera, you got to be small and minimal, not a lot of movement. I'm not kidding, not a lot of head movement, not a lot of eye movement, because the camera picks that up. Whereas on stage, you've got to do a lot of movement to get seen by the back row, people in the back row, and heard. So you're always having to talk louder, not like intimate like you can in a film. So the controversy is someone else was nominated for an Oscar. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. It was his last film. He died of cancer, 42 years old, way too young. And he was kind of the sympathetic winner, if you want to say that. But Anthony Hopkins got the award, and some people were upset over it. They felt it was, yet again, white people dominating the awards, and Frances McDormand is also a white woman. Now, I don't know how you feel about it. The kid in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, I'm forgetting his name right now. It's horrible. You know who I'm talking about. He just died of cancer. He said Black Panther. Also, he played the Black Panther. Did he do a great job? He did. Was it the best job? Perhaps not. Should he be awarded the award for the color of his skin? Or did he do the best job? Same with the women who were nominated against Frances. Should you be awarded because it's politically sound and correct to have someone of color in there winning the award over someone who's white? Or are we giving it to the best actor or actress or director or cinematographer? It was pretty, that's going to be debated for years to come. But the more we integrate the entire melting pot of who we are as humans into Hollywood, which is happening right now, this is not going to become an issue. It's an issue right now because it's new. The only other woman who has won a Academy Award who was African American was Halle Berry. That's for Best Actress. There's been some supporting roles also that have won. The point is, the more people of color and people of different backgrounds and not just white privileged America, the more they infiltrate the Hollywood system, the better the movies are going to become. They're going to represent who we are in a more holistic way. Another up-and-coming field is Asian filmmakers. This year, we've had some attacks on Asian people because people who are ignorant always strike out at people the other. someone who doesn't look like them, someone who doesn't sound like them, and they don't think like them. They're not humans. They're subhuman. And that obviously is insidious, and it's a sickness that runs through our entire culture. So Hollywood is at the moment where these things are being changed. And so now the ratings go down, and they're going, oh, what about the ratings? Well, it is the pandemic, and so they can't do the usual big crowds everywhere. So they try to do something different. Was it successful? I didn't watch it because I don't like watching those things. I did read about it. I've seen some YouTube clips. Yeah, it's different, that's for sure. Did they lose a huge audience just from last year? Absolutely, they did. I blame it on the pandemic because most of us haven't been going to the movie theaters. Do you care about these Academy Awards or any awards? Golden Globes, the People's Choice Awards, Emmy Awards. Do you really care? Do you watch it? Do you pay attention? Will you go to a movie that's won an award that perhaps you wouldn't have gone to before? Do you pay attention to that stuff? I think we used to pay more attention. What usually happens, no, the movie that wins the Academy Award, they'll re-release it into the general population, and it will make more money at the box office. We'll see if that happens this time with No Man Land. I think it played about 3 days in Reading. We'll see if it comes back to a movie theater. Perhaps it will, or just stay in the streaming services. These aren't big entertainment superhero movies, folks. And so that's where the big audience is. These are emotional, deeply human films on a small scale. Now, that's what I prefer in a film, like those films we saw in Easy Rider, Raging Bulls. I'd rather see those types of films than people flying around with capes and punching people through the wall, which is fine when you're 12 years old, but at my age, I don't really care because I need to see reality. I'm not trying to escape when I go to movies. I'm trying to deepen my understanding of humans. And I'll go to a film that will help me do that. Why do you go to movies? So things are changing in Hollywood. Absolutely. They're changing everywhere. The music industry is changing. Wall Street is changing. The .com is changing. We're in the Me Too, Black Lives Matter, Asian Lives Matter. We're politically separated in this country. Thank you, ex-president, for that. And it's us against them. Some people will take the vaccine, some people won't. Why? It's been politicized. I don't like to see the film industry be politicized, but it is. This is how revolutions begin. You got to break down the walls. You got to lose some ratings. You got to lose some money. And we'll see what happens. That springs out of the ashes. The phoenix rises out of the ashes. In the 60s, when Hollywood was failing and they were tearing down the studios, they were selling the property because they needed the money. In 20th century, if you guys know anything about LA, there's an area in down there, and it's called Century City. That's where 20th Century Fox used to be, folks. Now it's high-rise condos and business and banks. They had to sell the property because they were going bankrupt because the movies couldn't make any money anymore. 5 years later, Hollywood got back because it's all the stories handed to you on a silver platter. Let's say Jaws, entertaining movie. I'm not putting it down. I'm just saying there's not much nuance there. Who's good? Who's bad? The shark is bad. The mayor of the town is bad because he wants to keep the tourists coming. The sheriff is good. So the good and bad thing is really simplistic melodrama. Although over the years, I've kind of had sympathy for the shark. I have. When that movie came out, just to give you an example, it looked like don't ever go into the ocean again. Nobody did. For years, nobody wanted to go swim in the ocean because of that movie. You're going to get eaten by a great white shark as soon as you leave the beach. People stayed away in droves for that movie. Also, what happened? Idiots, thousands of idiots went out and killed great white sharks all over the world. This happened. You could Google it, folks, to see if I'm right or not. Although you have to trust me on this one. And Peter Benchley, who wrote the book, said, I regret writing the book because people are idiots. Now they're going to go kill this magnificent beast that lives out there away from people because of my silly book and the silly movie. He regretted it. And yet he became a multi-million off it. I mean, to this day, people are scared of the great white shark. They're a very shy creature. They usually stay way out in the middle of nowhere where the cold water is. Only reason why they come in is because the feeding grounds have changed, and climate change, folks, have brought them closer and closer into human contact because the feeding grounds have changed. That's what we owe climate change to. They no longer stay out in the middle of nowhere. They're coming closer and closer. Now I feel sorry for the shark. The shark doesn't have a brain big enough to be evil or good or bad. He's just impulse. That's what he lives on. And his impulse is to eat everything in sight, even the boat. And so he's not the villain, folks. Anyway, so I'm going to start a discussion. I'll put it up there right now. I've also put some of you have asked me for some topic suggestions for a final research paper. I posted some today in announcements. Now listen, you can choose one of those and go do it. It's a done deal. You don't have to think about it, except for you have to do the research. Or maybe it'll give you an idea on what to do. 2 or 3 people piped in what they want to do. I give the green light to just about everything. So it helps if you run it by me so I can see that you're on the right roadmap to success. When we talk about this final paper, when we get closer to it, I'm not posting it yet because it's not due to the last week of our school. We've got another 6 weeks or something, 5 weeks. I don't post it until the last 2 weeks of school because you can't hand it in right now. It's too soon. I'll post it soon in assignments, but not yet. Anyway, what I'm looking for is this 3 to 5 page, very well researched paper that isn't just taken off Wikipedia or some other website. You've actually maybe perhaps saw some of these films that say choose a director or a genre, westerns or musicals. You've seen some of these, and you might want to tell me why they matter still, or why they matter, and through your research, you find out why they matter. Do they matter? Horror genre. Why is it so popular right now? More popular than it's been in years. Why? There's reasons. There's cultural reasons for it. You don't have to have the right answers, folks. You just got to be thinking. Present some stuff and throw it out there. Just don't tell me if you want to write about Steve Spielberg, what year he was born, what school he went to. I don't care. I want to know why he matters as a filmmaker, or does he? And besides making a lot of money, the wealthiest filmmaker in the history of films, does that mean he makes great films? What do you think? Write your paper about it. Why does Quentin Tarantino Why does he connect so well with a certain generation, a certain pop culture generation that is obsessed with pop culture? He doesn't connect that well with an older generation or a really young generation. He's right in the Generation X, the millennials. They love Tarantino because he's speaking to their cultural references, because that's what he's is. That's where his passion lies. So write that in your paper. Um, you're going to have a works cited page because you're going to have to get your research from somewhere. If you have any direct quotes, you're going to have to put citations on that stuff. This is not the essay that we've been writing. This is a research paper. I'll talk about it more in detail soon. But right now, just start finding a topic and start taking notes and doing the research, the hard part. And then save the last 2 weeks of school to do the writing, perhaps, if that's how you operate. So, what else? So, I'm going to post a discussion out there about, do these awards mean anything to you or not? Have you, and why? Why not? Simple as that. And pipe in. And then pipe in with something nice to say, or not so nice, and something that has some meat to it, some substance to it, and then perhaps comment on one of your peers' comments. Agree or disagree with them. It's called a discussion, folks. If nobody's discussing, then it's not a discussion. And I do look at those things, and I see who's participating, and I see who's not. Part of your participation is the discussions. We're not in class together, folks. I used to take roll. I used to take what do you call it? Roll call, attendance. We don't do that anymore. I have no idea if anybody's even watching these. I hope you are. Hope you're staying up to date and not just being lazy. Because I give a lot of what I'm looking for in these lectures, and I might leave out in some of the announcements. So do watch the lectures. I'm trying not to make them too long. When I had the class, it was 75 minutes long. I make these lectures around 30 minutes at the most. You used to have to listen to me talk for 75 minutes before. Then we'd have film clips and stuff like that. We'd have discussions in the class, which we're not doing now. Anyway, I hope you guys are taking care and staying safe and doing well. We've got another month before the class is over. We're not there yet, but we're coming close. I'm going to sign the next essay on Wednesday. That'll be number 7, the last one. See you soon. The story of film will continue.